Hi all, today I wanted to share with you some software engineer tips. These tips would help you to maintain a healthy relationship with your work as software engineer. I'm working as software engineer near 6 years, so these tips from my experience. In this video would be 5 tips and we would speak more about each one in details. Let's start. First tip would be don't work more than expected from your role. I would explain. When you apply to some job, there is always a role. There is some expectations from you. For example, as software engineer, you expected to build software. And in some startups, you started to work as software engineer, but your responsibilities start to grow in. And you started not just develop some features and fixing bugs, but also manage release process, CI/CD process, publish into App Store process. Like you started to own meetings, you started to be like Scrum Master, you started to be like product manager. The main problem here is that when you applied to a job, there was some expectations on you. From software engineer, everybody expected that you would develop a product. And when you started to lead in meetings, doing extra work, for example, you came as front-end engineer, but you started to make back-end tasks, you start manage databases, you start making CI/CDs, builds. It's cool for you, but now you have a lot of responsibilities. Everybody wanted to do everything and continue to build the features. And main responsibility as a software engineer is to develop a product. And when your performance started going down because you lead some meetings, you make a CI/CD, you make a back-end processes, you make something unrelated to your role. And if your performance is bad, nobody would care that you make something extra. They would focus only on your main responsibility. For example, you hired to develop a new features. You started to create backend services, you started to set up CI/CDs, and you're not developing features for application. Even if you're doing a lot of responsibilities, people expect from you to making your core responsibilities. And your core responsibilities is develop a product. It's a trap, because from your perspective, you make a lot of work. You manage a meeting, making other services, you're creating a lot of value, but nobody would see you because your main role is to create a product, create a feature. Also, problem with this, when you grab a lot of responsibilities on yourself, a lot of people get used to it. And when you stop to make these responsibilities, they would be offended. They would say, why you don't lead a meeting anymore? Or why you didn't create any backend services now? They get used that you would do many things. So it's easier not to start grabbing a lot of responsibilities and focus only on your work. If it's work dependent from somebody else, allow this person to grab his own responsibility to do this, not start doing it by yourself. In the end, it would take a bad job with you. We would move to next tip. Second, don't be in rush. When you're starting to work in a new company, you feel excited and you started to do a lot of things. You wanted to show everybody that you are efficient and competent. You're starting to make a lot of tasks at the same time. This would lead you to be in rush, and being in rush is bad for you. When you're in rush, you miss some important details. From manager's perspective, everything would look fine. You completed a lot of tasks, but in reality, these tasks would come back with changes because you just read the title and created something that you think that it would work. But in reality, in new projects, you need to check each description of task because each sentence is important here. And if you doesn't understand what you need to be done, you better to ask questions. Never in your life make tasks that you doesn't understand that need to be done here. Such tasks are bad for you. It's always better to ask additional questions, have some meetings with important people who are responsible for this task creation to better understand what needs to be done. After all of this process, if you would understand what you need to get done, just then start making this task, because in the other case you would do a bad thing. If you doesn't understand how it should work, you wouldn't understand core cases. It would be hard to test. Be focused on task, on its details and on description. Each detail is valuable in software development. And we would move to next advice, third one. Don't get used to overtimes and overtimes on weekend. When I started working as software engineer, I started to work more than 1 hour per day. Everything was new and interesting for me, so I was totally excited to do more tasks that I could, have more time in the code to do cool stuff. You know, when you wanted to make something perfect and more perfect, you wanted to improve it even more. On this time, everything seems cool, but now I understand that you shouldn't do this thing, because overtimes is bad for your mental health, and how you perform or work, it depends on mental health. When you have strong hard skills, when you understand how everything works in details, you still need to have a good mood to work. If you would overtime, you wouldn't rest. If you wouldn't rest, you wouldn't be productive. Biologically, if you didn't have a time for relax, you didn't have power to work. Because how you relax and rest, it's important for your mind. Please don't hesitate to relax and rest well. Don't overtime and don't work on weekends. Imagine if you would work in such a gym. What would you feel? It would feel bad for you. You couldn't work unlimited amount of time. Sometimes you need to sleep, eat and rest well. If you wouldn't sleep enough, you would have a bad mood for work. You would have a bad performance. If you would overtime and crunch every day, it would negatively impact on your performance. It would negatively impact on your life. Your life could feel miserable and a lot in your life depending how you feel it. If you feel exhausted, you wouldn't want it to do a work. You wouldn't make your work as full potential as you could. So it's very important for you to have a time for relax. To have a time for relax, you need a weekends. If you start in your development career, please don't overtime. And we would move to next one. Fourth, don't hesitate to use all vacation days that you got. It depends more from region and your mentality, but my colleagues and I didn't use all vacation days that was available for us. I was so passionate about software engineer job, so I didn't wanted to use vacation days, because every day I was learning something new on work. I was making this and I was making that. It was very interesting to me and doing new things. I ignored vacation because I wanted to get more. I wanted to know more about how it's working. I was interested in a lot of process in company, in project, how everything worked, how everything coupled, but you need to rest. Some companies are forced you to use all vacation days, and it's a good practice, because for some reason vacation days exist. It highly coupled with the rest. If you would always work, you would be focused only on work, but there is other things in your life. If you feel exhausted and depression, usually get some vacation days would help you. Some people underestimate the value of vacation days. They think that they could work endlessly, but in reality we're all human. We need to take a rest sometime. You couldn't be productive 24 hours per day, and it's totally normal. So use your vacation, feel relaxed. You need to have time for yourself. There are other things except of work in your life. Your work is important, but your life is more important. If you wouldn't take a vacation, you would be exhausted, in depression and starting burnout process. It's better to not start in these things. And we would move to last one. So last one, tip 5, maintain a habit to have an active lifestyle. If you work from home and from office, have a time to go out after work. You could just walk in alone, walk it with somebody, go somewhere. Core advice here, you need to move. Software engineers sitting a lot in front of their computers, in front of monitor. Even if you sit on expensive chair and it's fit to your spine, you should move. In other case, you would have a pain in spine. You would have a health problems, because sitting a lot, it's not good for people. Your body is not constructed to sit a lot of time in one position. You need to move. All problems connected with spine are coming from how you use it every day. If you're sitting in front of computer for 5 years, your spine would be bad. And do you want to feel a pain every day, or you just wanted to feel light? If you would feel the pain, it would impact on your life and on your work. Also, nothing could help you in this case, only physical activity. So it's better to maintain your physical activity every day. Everything starting from your health. It's better to not have health problems, trust me. Health must be top 1 priority in your life. If you wouldn't have an active lifestyle, you wouldn't rest, your spine would be hard, you would have a lot problems with your health. You'd have a bad posture, back pain and other stuff. Your body is designed to move in every day. If you stop moving, you stop your healthy lifestyle. If you have some questions or mental health issues, check link in description and I would help you. You could check all my services in description. Today we reviewed 5 tips from me for maintaining a healthy lifestyle as software developer. If you would follow them, you would prevent a lot of mental health issues. Subscribe if you're interested in more mental health advices. Have a nice day. Bye.